What up, it's Troy. We are continuing our series on how to burst with energy over the age of 40. This year I turned 44 years old and I feel like I'm gaining energy by the years, but I want to show you how I do it. And in this video, we're going to break down the tenet of movement, or you might call it exercise. But we're going to actually change the frame, just call it movement, and watch how we do this, creating an upward cycle of momentum so that you feel successful in this area of your life, even if you haven't before. Again, what you're learning to do or learning to master in life before you get into a relationship, before you go pursue money, before you do anything else, I want you to understand these key principles, or I call the foundations. The foundations are your nutrition. I have a video about this, so make sure you watch that video first before you even watch this one. Then we have detox. You have to do detox second, because if you try to detox and you don't eat good, then you're just going to create the same cycle over and over, because your foods are very toxified. The air you breathe is toxified. The chemicals that you put on your body are toxified. So you have to have a constant detox process so you stay clean and your body can actually absorb the nutrients that you give it. From there, and what we're going to talk about today is movement. You might call it exercise or working out, but we're actually going to change the frame. We'll talk about that in a second as far as beliefs go, and just call it movement for now. And then lastly, you'll be ready to sleep. Like quite literally, if you get these things dialed in, your body is going to be craving the need to sleep. And we'll talk about that in a future video. Now remember, with these key tenets, the three main areas that influence them are your belief systems, the awareness you have around something. If you don't have awareness around something, how can you actually adjust it? And then lastly is strategy. When you look at the beliefs around exercise, notice how we've already changed the paradigm. So we're quite literally looking at it through a different pair of glasses. We're gonna call it movement. I just want you to move. We're gonna get movement throughout our days, because when you think of exercise or working out, it's this very narrow frame, meaning like there's a limited possibility of things that actually are exercise. It's like going to the gym, maybe go to the park, you work out. It's like a narrow frame or a narrow lane of things you can actually do to get exercise in. But if we change the frame to just calling it movement, now you have an abundance of opportunities that you can actually do or implement to get movement. So that's the first thing that we're gonna do, is we're just gonna call it movement for now, when we're looking at our belief system. The second thing we're gonna do is increase our awareness around it. Now we see that there's just more things that I can do to create more movement. So meaning, I might ride my bike when I get home. I might go for a walk at lunch. I might take my kids out and play some soccer or throw the ball. Maybe they'll actually go to the gym and exercise as well. We have so many more things that we can actually do that create movement in our life. And what we're doing when we do that, is we're creating a positive upward trajectory, more momentum going upwards, because we believe that we're actually doing the thing. Again, if I think that I'm exercising and I don't actually do it, then I feel like I'm not achieving the thing. And so rather, I want to change the entire frame and go, yo, I just got to create movement. So maybe it's the end of the day and you're like, damn, I haven't moved today. What can you do to get more movement? Maybe you can go, hey kids, let's go to the park. Or maybe you go, hey, yo, you call up a friend, you're like, hey, yo, let's go for a walk. Whatever it is, it's way easier to get more movement in when we just change our awareness around it. And then lastly is the strategy. And I'll give you an example, kind of along the same lines here. When I first started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everyone would always ask, like, how often are you training? And what they really wanted to know is like, are you getting better faster than I am? And then what I'd see is people would tell me like, I'm training 4 days a week, or I'm training 5 days a week. But I knew it was a marathon and not a sprint. So these people would actually only show up like 2 days a week. And before long, they'd quit because they were in a downward cycle, meaning they weren't achieving the goals they set out to do when they said, I'm gonna be there 3, 4, 5 days a week. And they were only showing up 2 days a week. It felt like they were actually losing and getting behind. So one is, I didn't want to compare myself to other people. And two is, I said, I'm only going to work out or show up to train 1 day a week. Because again, I knew if I just showed up 1 day a week, at least over a decade, I'd actually become a master at this thing. So when they would ask me, I'd say, I'm just trying to show up at least 1 day a week. I actually showed up way more than just 1 day a week, but I felt like I was winning because I was exceeding my goal. So your strategy is to understand that you just need movement and set the bar low in the beginning, and then exceed the bar, and then gradually you can raise the bar. We want you to feel like you're always achieving your goals and you're always winning, and they are not difficult for you to achieve. This is very, very important. It's taken me 2 decades of working and coaching with people to understand, if we change the frame around things, you are more likely to achieve success. Again, at one point I was run up for personal trainer of the year. I've worked over 10,000 hours training people in the trenches, training with them. And now I work with high-level CEOs, professional athletes, Olympic athletes, around these kinds of things. Most often I'll work with a client, we won't even talk about nutrition, because I talk about a lot of other stuff as well. And they'll naturally lose around 20 pounds, like quite literally, if they need to lose weight, quite literally they'll lose up to 20 pounds. And it's just a byproduct because we slowly over time change our belief, we increase awareness, and we implement implement a simple strategy. And what that does, it creates results and they stay in an upward positive momentum or an upward cycle. So that's what I want you to do as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It costs you nothing and it means a lot. I do it for you. So if you could help me, that'd be fantastic. Until next time, peace.